All right, everyone, thank you for joining us for another pay-per-view recap show. We are going over Money in the Bank. That is right, and not only are we going over Money in the Bank, but we had someone in the audience for Money in the Bank, and that is my co-host. That is right, here he is, infamous Joey Irving. Infamous Joey Irving, how are you doing today, my dude?
Very, very awesome Money in the Bank pay-per-view that it was. It was great.
It was fantastic. I'm sure, especially with where your seats were. I saw the videos you sent to me. It must have been a great experience. We're going to get all into that, and we're going to start at the very top. So take us through your experience. When did you get there? What did happen when you first got to the show?
3:00, about 3:15 my time. Waited in line till 5:00 till they opened the doors. Then just went to my seats and kind of hung around. Went to the merchandise stand, got some merch and just some food, and just hung around.
Nice. And during the kickoff show, we saw Rey Mysterio versus the Usos, or the Mysterios versus the Usos, I should see. And great match, hard hitting, very a lot of high flying action. And we got crowned new tag team champions. How was that, seeing that live? And what do you think about the match?
I felt like they should have switched the Raw tag titles to the pre-show, and then had the Rey Mysterios, the Mysterios and the Usos on the main card. But the crowd was hot even in the pre-show, and that's how I knew the crowd was going to be live for the actual main card. Like the crowd was just live all throughout.
Yeah, they seemed like they were a hot crowd. Was it a full crowd? Was there empty seats anywhere?
Empty seats, maybe like 10 to maybe like 20 to 30, but it was pretty much a full house. Yeah, it's pretty packed.
Nice. Good to hear. I'm trying to think here. There's a lot of cool moves that happened in the match. Dominic Mysterio, he looked like he's gonna be a stud, but you're right. Like that match didn't feel like it should have been on the pre-show. It should have been something that maybe they wanted to save. They wanted to start off the crowd hot, which is why they brought him in there. And it makes sense, to keep them where they were here. You did send some awesome footage of the Mysterio match in there, of the Uso, of the pinfall, of everything. That was a fantastic. Anything shock you about this match? Anything come out?
Yeah, I did like I sent you the video on one of the Usos doing the splash on Rey Mysterio and like the false finish, like the close call. That was really cool. Like I really enjoyed that. Like that got me out of my seat and everything. I wasn't expecting him to kick out, but no, I mean not really surprising. I kind of expected the Usos to win, but it was overall a great match.
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. Perfect match to start the show. And then when we did start the show, we had the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And this ladder match was pretty exciting. We saw a lot of choices being made, I should say, in the sense that Alexa Bliss made a lot of character development, I would say, in this match, but we didn't really get to see too much. She got buried under those pile of ladders. She was trying to use her powers to bring the briefcase down. Like a lot of interesting stuff happened in that match in that sense. How was it seeing live? We got Nikki Ash winning the belt in epic fashion. How was that?
Like the crowd loved it. I guess they're trying to go for this superhero-esque type thing for Nikki, for the kids. That they loved her winning. I personally thought, I was telling my mom, because I went with her, I was telling her, my mom, that I was like, I could just see them like turning the lights out, and then Alexa Bliss is on top of the ladder with like her superpowers or whatever. But I'm not sure they could work that into a live crowd. But I thought they'd do something kind of creepy like that or something. But overall, the crowd was into it. They were excited that Nikki won. I personally wasn't. I was going for Alexa. I thought Alexa Bliss was going to win it. But, match.
That was an interesting. Well, I know they're pushing Nikki Ash, but it's more of like, I feel like it's more of a jokeful run of another Money in the Bank like we had with Otis last year.
Win if she cashes in. I don't think she's going to win it.
Yeah, and they were making those obvious on commentary. No women has ever not cashed in. No woman, every woman has cashed in and been champion. So like she might be the first with the way they're setting it up to lose her Money in the Bank and not cash in successfully. But the way they've been pushing Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan, I was really hoping one of them were gonna win it. And then my prediction though was Becky Lynch was gonna pop out and then like do the Brock Lesnar as like maybe Nikki Ash is undoing it, and then here comes Becky Lynch, the man. Whoa, that would have been
big pop. That would have been great. Yeah.
And so we did not see Becky Lynch, and so I got that part wrong. But here's a little tease. I did get something else correct, but we will talk about that later on. And let's get into the very next match. The very next match was after that. Refresh me. Was it the tag team match right after that?
It was AJ and Omos against the Viking
AJ
Raiders.
Omos versus the Viking Raiders. That match, Omos looks huge. That's all I can say. Like, he looks like a beast.
Ginormous.
He's 1000%. Like, I want to know, like, live, is it like watching a basketball player? Like, I know, like, when we used to go to like Laker games when I was a kid, seeing Shaquille O'Neal was like huge. Like, man, like that dude was huge. And then so I feel like it was the same thing with seeing Omos. How was that for seeing him live for you? Is he that big?
He was, yeah, he was huge. I think when he came out of the entrance, I think he almost hit his head on like where they walk out at because he's so tall.
Yeah.
But he's a very big dude. Like, it was crazy. He picked up Ivar or whatever, the big bearded guy, like the heavyset guy, like no problem. Like, it was crazy. Like, he just picked him up like it was nothing.
Yeah, I mean they are. He seemed like the best part about it is he's teamed with AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is, like, he's not the tallest, but he has the biggest character in the room, and so it matches. He can match almost, even though they're characters. It reminds me of like a cartoon, like Bugsy, and like, where did he go? Where did he go? Like, like the old like Looney Tunes cartoons. Where did he go, George? And it's like almost it's just like this big, like, I'm just gonna be like the muscle, and I got my little mafia guy that is just like, that's Cap. That's Cap calling everybody out on all their bull sleazy over there. But that was a great match. Almost does get the victory. He does almost botch the ending. He does not like get Ivar on the choke slam. Was that what they're calling it now? The choke bomb, I guess they're calling it.
Yeah.
But he did not get him up on the first go, but he did get him up eventually and then get the pin. I wish there was gonna be some a little bit more hard hitting to kind of like that. Felt like a pre-show match, like you were saying. But they did retain their titles over the Viking Raiders. Anything to get from this?
It was entertaining because AJ Styles, he did some pretty cool spots in there. But other than that, just a normal tag match. I felt like they should have swapped them again. Should have had the SmackDown tag titles in that spot instead of the Raw ones. But that's just my opinion. But
how was the crowd feeling with this one? Like, was it time for them to give him a little break, and then like they kind of just like were they?
Surprisingly, they were actually behind AJ Styles. They chanted for him a lot, like he was a good guy. Like, they were really behind AJ. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's interesting to hear. All right. Well, and then we get into the first of the major championship matches, which is the WWE Championship match: Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston, which it would be a tease going into what I'm believing, but I've been saying this from the get-go of where I believe this feud is going. I don't know why Xavier Woods was able to pin Bobby Lashley. That's the one part that's confusing me with this whole saga. But Bobby Lashley comes and completely dominates Kofi Kingston throughout this whole match. Granted, it wasn't as demeaning as the Brock Lesnar defeat in 7 seconds, but it was about 5.5 minutes of pure dominance. Would you agree?
People on our Discord about it before the match, like even before I went to the show, that I think Bobby Lashley would completely destroy Kofi Kingston, make him this dominant, unstoppable champion that no one could beat, and that's exactly what they did. The crowd was trying to get behind Kofi. He had a few signs of life, but nothing really major. Bobby Lashley kind of shut that down. The fans really like booed loud. Like, he was like super hated by the fans. Like, he was booing him and everything. Like, it was crazy.
It seemed like that. The fans were really behind Kofi. Like, they were trying to get those Kofi Mania rechants going. Not rechants of Kofi Mania, but like that vibe of Kofi Mania back into this building. I could sense that. But, it just didn't work out in his favor. And 3 Dominators and a Hurt Lock later, we have and still Bobby Lashley as your Raw champion. Which I thought the match was good in the sense of like Kofi can sell. It's like one of those Jeff Hardy matches, I feel like, where like he gets just thrown around the ring for a while. But and it makes Bobby Lashley look like a monster. So good on him. I feel like it's going to tie in more to the men's Money in the Bank. I don't think the men's Money in the Bank is going towards Roman or Edge winner, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Before we get to that, let's talk about the Raw Women's Championship, in which, oh man, it was a barn burner of a match. I love these two athletes are athletes. I don't care what you think about Charlotte Flair. I don't care what you think about Rhea Ripley, but these two are literally the yin and yang of professional women's wrestling right now. Go ahead. What were you saying?
The people who hate on Charlotte Flair, I don't get it. She proved last night why she is, in fact, one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE today. Like, she proved it last night, was the reason why. Like, she proved it.
Well, and that's my biggest issue with Charlotte is it's not that she proves it time and time again. The problem I have with Charlotte Flair is she plays to her matches. So if she's going up against a Rhea Ripley, you're gonna get an A quality match. But if she's going up against someone like a Dana Brooke or someone like like Zelina Vega, when Zelina Vega is like still coming back with ring rust, or like it's gonna be a lot of errors, a lot of botches in the match. Like we've seen that before with her other match with Rhea. Like there's a lot of like if they're not, she's not comfortable, she'll just like she'll wing it too much, in my opinion. He's like, oh, I don't care. It's kind of Bailey syndrome in the sense where they'll play down to their opponent if they need to and not bring their opponent up. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, they're literally like, when you look at them, you're literally two opposites of the coin. It's like when you look at them, there could be two-face. And then seeing Charlotte Flair hit that figure 8 and come away with the tap out victory. I could not believe she submitted Rhea Ripley, but man, I am a huge Rhea fan, and Charlotte Flair is she gonna break her dad's record?
She might break her record. If not, she'll tie it. But the fans were kind of split. They were for Rhea and then they were for Charlotte. I know y'all saw in the beginning. I think they blurted out on Peacock, but she like flipped the fans off when they were saying we want Becky. She like did the DX chop and then flipped the fans off when
Oh,
they were saying we
really?
want
Yeah,
Becky.
I
Yeah,
did hear. I saw on Twitter she did flip the fans off, but we did hear the "We Want Becky" chants. But then again, they jumped to "This is awesome" very quick, and so
and
like,
like that's how you know how good they are. If they go from we want Becky to this is awesome in the span of like 5 minutes.
yeah,
Like
and
it's
so like
crazy.
literally hopped right back and forth. There was a couple cool spots in this match too. I remember the suplex, which was like the flipping underhook up around. She almost dropped her and then actually got that suplex on Charlotte. Rhea Ripley is strong. Like she just really showed off some of her strength here. I would definitely buy a super fight with Rhea versus Bianca Belair. I think those girls, they are the future of women's wrestling right now.
Natural selection from Charlotte was great too. Like that was
Oh,
that was
off the top
that
rope.
was great.
Yeah. The
Yeah, that was
stupid
great.
natural selection. That's going to be something that they're going to put in all the WWE video games from here on out.
Personally think this was probably match of the night, if not the Miz Money in the Bank, which you're talking about, but I feel like this was the match of the
Oh,
night, in
this
my
is match
opinion.
of the night for you. All right. And
Yeah.
one last spot, the moonsault, the best in the business, in my opinion. Charlotte Flair is the best moonsault in the business, and that moonsault back elbow was that was pretty dope. Not gonna lie. All right, and then we move on into my opinion of my match of the night, which is the men's Money in the Bank match. I just really liked all the spots in this match. The problem is though, and we're gonna kick it off with this. I was texting Joey throughout there, man. I'm like asking him if they're pausing the show because Peacock took a doo-doo on us. Right? If you were watching on Peacock last night, the men's Money in the Bank match started off with what I thought was a Rick Boogs promo. I thought we were gonna rock out with some Shinsuke and Matt Riddle, but no, we absolutely saw nothing of it because right at the end of the Charlotte match, it just glitches out until about the start of the match. So we saw none of the entrances. We saw barely any of that promo. Only the friends in the UK or with live streams from something else, like we're able to actually see it. Or if you were in live attendance, like our buddy Joey here was. So Joey, walk us through that promo with Matt Riddle, Boogs, and Shinsuke.
Yeah. Of course, they were talking, and then Riddle pops up and he's like, "Hey, can you play Randy Orton's theme song? It's my favorite." And at first, Rick Boogs was like, "No, I can't." And then Matt Riddle got all sad. He's like, "I'm kidding, I can." So they played it. Riddle sang it, and then Nakamura did the Randy Orton pose. And then it turns to Kevin Owens, who gave him like a "What are y'all doing?" type look. Then Kevin Owens came out to a huge pop. Then I think Matt Riddle came out afterwards, and then Shinsuke came out. And I think because you had messaged me, I think they told Shinsuke to take his time with his music, his theme song, because he took a little bit to get down to the ring. It took him a little bit. And then John Morrison also stood up there for a bit, like maybe like 15, 20 seconds, and then he walked down. He was talking to The Miz for a good little bit, saying, "Hey, I don't need you to come down here with me," and all that. So I'm assuming that was a way to kind of pause it to get their stream to work.
Yeah, it kind of felt like because I know when I was messaging you because I felt like the stream was a little bit delayed, obviously. So I was like, because you were telling me like, oh, people are coming out. I'm like, okay, we're with the previous person still. And so when I messaged you, be like, hey, are they pausing the match? Because like literally we can't, like, there's nothing going on. I've tried, it's closing out. I'm on Twitter. Everyone's complaining. And it felt like WWE was aware from what we saw because they put out an update being like, we are aware of the Peacock issue. So it felt like they told their superstars, hey, take a minute on your entrances. So it's kind of cool that they did kind of like try to hold it off, because right when the match started, I refreshed the app and it was right back ready to go. So we didn't really miss much of the match. And now let's get into that match. That match was an all-out brawl. I mean, from Ricochet, Riddle flying, we saw Big E's muscle. Seth Rollins was looking like a champion in the making. John Morrison, like there were so many Owens with the springboard moonsault. Ricochet with that. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about all the stuff in my head right now. But when Ricochet ran across the rope, jumped onto the ladder, Kevin Owens pushed the ladder over. He jumped off the rope, springboarded into the crowd of people. My mind was blown. I was like, this is insane. Like, so many high flying spots in this that wasn't necessarily like my biggest problem with AEW tag team, 6-man tag team matches is they do those spot monkey stuff where they'll just set up a crowd of 6 people and then you kind of watch them set this up. A lot of the moves in this match did not feel set up. They kind of like camera angles in this was perfect. Big hit with Kevin Owens on the ladder when Seth Rollins power bombed him. We got footage of that thanks to Joey here. You'll probably be seeing that right above here. And that was just an epic spot. And then, of course, Big E hits the big ending on Seth Rollins all alone in the ring from atop of the ladder. Then no-sells his own move. Well, after jumping 10 feet, he gets right back up and then climbs the ladder. Big E attains the Money in the Bank, the first African-American to win Money in the Bank. And this is where I get into my speculation. After what we saw to Kofi Kingston, Big E has got to go to Raw and bring that Raw Championship back home for New Day Rocks. New Day Rocks. Exactly, baby. I would love to see it. I would love to see that.
The end of the men's Money in the Bank match, and Kevin Owens took that powerbomb like a freaking champion. Like that man, like he sold it perfectly, but he took it phenomenally. And icing on the cake, Big E winning. The crowd went nuts for it. It was just an awesome moment.
Were they chanting Big? What was the Big E chant they were chanting? Was it just? I think you guys were off because it was like a Big E, or was it just Big E?
I can't really remember. I think it was Big E, and yeah. And then whenever back to the Riddle Ricochet, he was on the ladder, and then Riddle pushed the ladder, and Ricochet did that springboard front flip on everybody outside. I was like, that was crazy. Dude, that spot was wild.
That whole match, there was a lot. The RKO from Riddle, and this is where I get a little bit of speculation mode here, and we'll take a little pause from the pay-per-view recap because we haven't seen. We've heard his name a lot, but we haven't seen him, and that's Randy Orton. But we've also heard Tony Khan says he's going to be debuting the biggest name that they've ever debuted, which everyone's thinking is Bryan Danielson. What if it's Randy Orton?
Like, from WWE?
I don't know when his contract fully ends or like what his time for that is, but like, what if this is because Randy Orton's always talked about like going on the indies and because he's like the last of like the true not the last, but like the first, I should say, of WWE's homegrown talent, like with John Cena, Randy Orton, and that ruthless aggression era. He was like one of the first to come out of there. He's a 3rd generation superstar. He's just, he's their guy. But what if they use him to open that forbidden door? And he, we saw with their Impact deal, we saw with the New Japan deal with AEW, like how they're all working together. We haven't seen Randy Orton in such a long time, and that Riddle is taking over his moveset. I can easily see Randy Orton transitioning to an outside promotion at this point, which I never thought I'd see.
And they've been mentioning him a lot, like you said, and Riddle's been using his moveset. So maybe he's slowly on his way out of the WWE. Who knows? I mean, only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, only time will tell. But what time did tell was that Edge still got it. And in the Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Edge, this is a great match. It was fantastic. It was like a close contender for my match of the night. The only reason it's not my match of the night because it's expected to be the match of the night. And but there was so many great spots. They had the false finishes in here were amazing. I did not appreciate. Okay, well, let's break it down real quick. So we had the match start off pretty slow match. And that's the one thing I liked about this match is we just came off a high spot and then a high spot match where crowd got what they wanted, Big E winning, and then Roman comes out, makes Edge wait, Like it's just like literally kills the crowd's momentum. Like he's going full blown heel, and then just does collar blah, blah, blah. I can't even speak right now. The collar and elbow ties, and then just like kind of just locks Edge up and just kind of crossfaces him, cuts him down, and just really brings down the pace of this match. And I just love it because you're so high. If they would have kept it up, it would have been gas so easy. But it made it great for such the long extendedness of this match. Because as it picked up, it just kept growing. When you thought, okay, this match is almost over, it's a boring match. Like the match is just starting. The execution, and then building up the momentum, and then Edge locks in the crossface, and you think Roman's gonna tap, and then he kind of falls asleep. The referee is out, and then Seth Rollins comes in and then breaks it up. Before that, we had the Mysterios breaking up the Usos from coming in. It was just like you never, at that point, once Seth Rollins came in, I kind of figured, okay, they're not going to give the belt back to Edge. And then here we come with Roman Reigns going for the spear, but then Edge counters it. And man, like there's just so many false finishes, but then it just ended up with Roman getting the final spear. And then he put him in the guillotine, right? That's right. That happened last night. Put him in the guillotine and knocked him out. He didn't tap.
Roman won by the spear after he kicked Seth Rollins off the apron.
Okay,
but he did put him in the guillotine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he did have him in the guillotine, but like they didn't end it there. Yeah, it was the kick and then the spear right after that, and then Seth Rollins came in and started fighting Edge after the match, and then they go backstage, and then
crazy as that
here
was crazy.
Comes John Cena. How was it? Did you actually see him? Does he exist?
He does exist. I did see John Cena. The place literally, like, it felt like the roof came off the building. There was no piped in crowd noise or nothing. It was like the building felt like it was shaking with how many people would chant, like cheering for Cena. It was crazy. Loudest pop of the night behind, well, even in front of Edge. Edge had a loud pop too, but Cena definitely takes the cake on that one. It was crazy.
Well, break down the match. So, like, you got their entrances on camera, which was awesome to see. You love to see the pyro.
Edge and Roman. Roman is eating up the heel that he is. You know, they were booing him. He was telling them, like, shut their mouths when he tried to boo him or whatever. They were firmly behind Edge the entire match. Edge hit that spear on the barricade on the outside, and then Roman tried to Roman tried to do a spear, I guess, first, and then Edge moved and he hit the barricade.
Yeah.
And then Edge came back in and did a spear on the barricade on the other side. And it was just overall a phenomenal match. Like you said, a lot of false finishes. When Edge reversed Roman's spear into his own spear, I thought Edge had it, and then Roman kicked out. I don't know if we talked about this, but Charles Robinson looked like he took a really bad injury. He took a really bad fall on his knee, and I don't know how serious it is, but he had to be helped to the back.
Okay, I was going to ask about that. Was that a kayfabe injury, or was that something that actually happened on the fly?
I don't know. He took a hard fall, and then he laid there for a bit, and then he turned around to look at Roman when he was coming in the ring, and then he rolled back out of the ring. So I don't know if maybe it was like a botch by the ref where he wasn't supposed to look, but he was like actually had help going to the back, and he like hobbled to the backstage. So I don't know if he was selling it or if it was a legit injury. Like, I'm not real for sure, but it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, and so they definitely played it off well. It felt like it was something that was that they kind of planned. We didn't really see him get helped off. I don't think I even saw the bump on camera. We'll definitely go back and check. I just saw the ref like he got hit, and then we didn't see the fall or anything. And so
like when he got hit, like Edge hit Edge backed into him, and I think maybe his knee buckled under like the pressure of Edge or something. I don't really know. It all kind of happened really fast, but he was laying there for a bit holding his knee, and then he rolled out, and then that's when the trainers came down and helped him.
And then we didn't see anything after that. And then Jason Ayers, shout out Jason Ayers, comes into the ring and saves the day like he normally does. Good job, Jason. Hopefully he gives that comment down below here.
But yeah, that main event was phenomenal. It's probably like one of the better matches I've seen from Roman Reigns. And I mean, he's had good matches here lately, but it's probably one of the better ones I've seen from him.
That match had a great story to it. Like they built it well with all throughout the weeks of SmackDown. Like Roman is the best thing WWE has got going right now. They have finally protected him to the point where they're using him as a heel to perfection. Like I said, the way that he controlled the crowd, and that's the best part to see Roman do. Like, and it's not in the sense of like the same way The Rock did or the way Stone Cold did, but he's controlling the crowd the way a a powerhouse heel can. I don't think it's something that's going to be sustainable as they keep traveling through cities and cities. Once the Roman sucks chants start coming through, I think they're going to have to like kind of change it up because he's going to get the board like I just feel like they're going to be like, this is boring. And then like, that's just going to start coming if he keeps playing these style matches. But because it was Edge and because they had such a high impact ending, it worked so well. And so we won't recklessly speculate because Triple H says we're not allowed to. But it was a fantastic pay-per-view. The John Cena pop at the end, I don't care. People say the spoilers ruined it. No, it doesn't. Spoilers don't ruin anything because Becky Lynch was spoiled herself coming back and she didn't come. So yeah.
I know they kind of ended it when Cena was in the ring, like doing like a face off or whatever. But actually, he spoke to us. Ending. Yeah, he spoke to us when the show went off. He was like, "Hey, I'm back. It's not a one night only thing. This is just the first night." And he just said like he just missed everybody, and he didn't really challenge Roman Reigns directly like on the mic. He just kind of said he was back and he missed everybody, and that was pretty much it.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I kind of went on when you said that he said stuff because like you were like, how'd you like the Cena pop? I'm like, oh, it was cool. He hit him with the can't see me and then dipped. And you're like, he didn't dip. But I'm like, what? And then I went on Twitter and just saw the videos like, no, he cut like a 2-minute promo. Oh, about a minute and a half.
Well, like Roman Reigns walked out, and that's when Cena grabbed a mic and just talked to the fans and everything, just to send them home happy. I mean, nothing really major.
Yeah, especially for just the live show. I mean, they did have a camera in his face the whole time, but we'll probably see some footage of that. And apparently, he's going to be there at Raw, which we are pre-recording this, so if this doesn't come out before Raw tonight, Cena will be at Raw, as well as Goldberg's going to be
actually
there tonight, right?
Night, I think Goldberg might. I don't want to like get into Monday Night Raw, but I think he might confront Bobby Lashley and hope maybe challenge him at SummerSlam if they don't go like you said the Big E route with Bobby Lashley. But
yeah,
I guess we'll just have to wait and see
how they go with that one. But yeah, so John Cena being treated like his free agent self. Apparently, we're going to get him on all brands. Maybe even on NXT. Seeing John Cena on NXT will be awesome. Could you imagine carrying Cross?
I think there was a sign that was confiscated. I saw it in the hallway when I was going back to my seat after getting I got like a snack or something, and the sign said, "Hey Lito, where's Edge?" And I guess they didn't let him have it in the arena, so they confiscated the sign. That was kind of crazy.
Dang. All right, so let's get into that too while you're there. So, any cool signs that you saw that you want to talk about?
A sign when he was talking to us after the show went off the air. He said there was a dude that had he talked about it in the video. He said there was a guy that had a sign that said, "If Cena shows up, we cheer." And there was another one that said, "My dad left when I was like 2 years old" or something. I don't know. It was a weird sign like that. I didn't really see too many signs out there, but those were the kind of the ones that I spotted.
And merch table. What was being sold at the merch? Like, what'd you get? Did you get anything?
I actually got my first Roman Reigns shirt. It was the Acknowledge Me shirt. I said the only Roman Reigns shirt I ever had was that one. They were just selling like arcade bro shirts. They sold like a special edition, like Money in the Bank, like Fort Worth one. It had like the briefcase with the Texas flag behind it. And it had like the Fort Worth I was there thing on the back of it. I was going to get that one, but they didn't have my size. They had like some WCCW stuff from the Sportatorium, some like old school stuff like that. They had a new Drew McIntyre shirt. They didn't really have too much stuff to choose from at this location.
Was it kind of busy with the merch? So did you see the merch tables always popping off? Are people out there? Yeah, excited to be
back? The line. Oh yeah, the lines was like back to the bathrooms. Like it was crazy. Like it was long lines. Awesome. But yeah, everything was fun, man. It was all just like the crowd was electric. They were into it all night. I don't really think there was like a dull moment with the crowd. Even during the Raw tag team match, they were still pretty into it too.
Awesome. So, that's good to hear. Rate the show out of 5 stars.
I'd say that I give it the half star because the ending to the Women's Money in the Bank match I wasn't a big fan of, but I definitely say 4.5 stars out of 5 in my opinion.
4.5 stars, I would agree. Like I have to give it between 4.2 and 4.5 stars for a pay-per-view. I'm loving the fact that they're not just riddling us with like lame matches that we don't need anymore. That we're just getting all the main like 5 or 6 matches, make them 15 to 30 minutes long, and then give us something good to go home with. I feel like they kept their secrets hidden. Everyone's gonna always speculate, and one person's gonna get it right. People hate the fact that WWE gets the dirt sheets, but that's because WWE's been around for 40 plus years, 25, 30 years on Raw, and throughout before that. AEW is going to get spoiled too here in the next couple of years once people like start getting it right and start getting their sources in order. And so don't hate it just because it's happening. Just, you know, take it with what you can and then enjoy it when it happens, because it's still fun to see. All right, guys. And so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back and we're going to talk with you guys about your reactions to Money in the Bank. So here's a word from our sponsors from the Discord, the NGTTWF. Stay tuned. We'll be back in shortly, guys.